All right, great. Thanks everyone for joining another episode of the OpenJS Foundation's Cross-Project Council meeting. Today is the 23rd of November. I'll remind folks to, make sure you're on the list here in the doc. If anybody can help take notes, great. Let me add the link to the recording here before I forget. And we'll get started. Any announcements before we get on to the agenda?
I feel like I say this every week, but our sponsorship prospectus for OpenJS World in June is almost done. They were just making a few edits. So we'll have that available on our website. I'll be emailing many of you as well. So that's exciting. It's all getting real, and the program committee is working hard and kind of fine-tuning some keynote speakers, and we'll have CFPs going out early to mid-January.
Great, exciting.
Yep.
Anything else? No? Okay, cool. I can't think of anything either. I will jump into the agenda. There's nothing from the board, right?
Nothing comes to mind on my front.
Okay, cool. So we've got a short agenda here. I already see some notes in here. I don't know if that was Toby. So for example, the first one here is the start listing documents maintained by the CPC issue or pull request 789. No updates on this. And I was just looking at our list of documents today and thought, that list of documents probably would be a good thing. So I will try to work on this too if I get a moment.
If I say no updates long enough, then suddenly stuff happens. It's great.
Yeah. Looks like we've got the next issue 786, clarify requirements around COC violation. Also already listed as no update. What are we looking for here? This is August 3rd. This was created by you, Toby.
Turn that into a pull request, essentially, sort of like combine all the notes that we have. It's actually, it would be good to do that.
Okay. Yeah, and the follow-up from our last meeting was I did an inventory of all of our projects and their code of conducts. Some of them just need to be updated. Some have some old JS Foundation language. So we're going to work on some template language like footer for folks to make it easy.
Okay.
And I think the real outcome of this is like agreeing that there's more. Today our requirement is you must have one. The outcome of this would be you must have one, and here are these additional requirements. Like,
right.
And so we'll need to, put together the list, the proposed list, agree that we think, projects will find that reasonable, and then, decide, yeah, okay, we're going to actually impose these, and then actually like audit them. The kind of thing Robin's doing now is to make sure that we make sure that if there are requirements that we actually fulfill them.
Right. Only 5 out of 38 didn't have one posted. Some were hard to find. And some just linked to here's the code of conduct, but no process. And I think we all agreed without a process, then we don't really have one. So
yeah. And the last comment on this issue that Toby made has a next steps here. So that's a good checklist for us to run through to make sure we've got this issue covered. Cool. All right. Next on the agenda here, if we're moving on, is the create proposals for the community fund. I know we've kind of brainstormed a little bit on this, and the scholarship stuff kind of came out of that.
I think what we talked about the last time was the thank you program, and I think Robin had shared a little bit of what she'd researched so far, but I unfortunately can't remember what you were going to go research some more, but I think that was what I remember is you were going to go look at some of the other options, like the gift cards or
That's right.
charitable donations, that kind of stuff, to see if we could include those.
Yeah. I'll update the issue with that.
Okay.
I wonder if actually, at this point, because I think one thing that's challenging about this particular issue is it's fairly vague. Like it's opened with, we have a fund, how do we want to use it? We then kind of over the course of the summer and fall got to a point where we said, oh, okay, like we want to focus on these specific types of efforts. So the travel, obviously, thank you, meetup support. And I suddenly am blanking on the other kind of two buckets, but we kind of had
Certification,
these
scholarships.
It was like scholarships and
Yeah, scholarships, which
yeah.
we've launched. So
Yeah, so I think maybe this issue itself is has been sufficiently addressed in that we've identified what the buckets are. But what we need now is more documentation and specificity around like those buckets. So for the travel piece of it, well, we're set effectively. For the thank you program, we're still doing some research. So
Yeah.
I
think we need a little working session on a couple of things. The travel fund, I've realized I've been working with the LF on the diversity travel fund for our event. And there was a process that was used for Montreal that was before my time. There is a process the LF uses, and then there's the travel fund process for CPC, which actually I don't think was quite used directly for the Montreal event. So I think we just have some housekeeping and clarification we need to do on how that's executed.
I'm pretty sure the Montreal event, we would have supported some people going there.
We did.
Yeah.
We did support
Right.
people, but people submitted a Google form. It wasn't a pull request as outlined in our documentation. So
The node,
I think through the Node Travel Fund, we did exactly, it was a PR to the travel request. Like we had
was it?
yeah.
I saw a Google form.
Yeah, I think at that time, Michael, we had already kind of moved it over to the foundation, and that was a temporary stopgap that was put in place. In the PR that I did that did link checking, I removed some dead content that like pointed to that kind of stuff. I think that for that situation, this also is kind of irrelevant. Like that situation, we did it through a form, I think.
Okay. My key thing is I think the CPC, like we did support through the Node Travel Fund people going there.
Yes.
As opposed to I think you're mentioning like a diversity support, which might be even a different thing, like an additional different thing, right?
No, I believe it came out of the foundation budget. I mean, I think regardless, and just making a process, like is the PR, does that process even support diverse candidates from applying, so.
yeah, it seems to me like these maybe are different things, right? Our travel fund has typically been, folks who are doing the work, and we want to support them to go to these events or whatnot, whereas a diversity initiative might be different. Maybe I'm wrong.
We don't have a separate budget for that, so.
I guess where the confusion might be coming is for me is along the same lines as Joe is. This fund was meant to get people in the community to the conferences, not in general, not something specific. So, which may include everything, but if we call it out as one thing, then it may not twig what we actually think we were doing. But I think back to like, it probably doesn't matter. We just want to figure out what do we want to do.
Yeah, so I'll just add, I'll share this link. This is the travel fund doc, but like one of the first things it says is candidates must be an active participant of one of the projects of the OpenJS Foundation and such. So it's not maybe just an open,
Right.
But the travel fund has been renamed the community fund, right? So with different not different, but more objectives. right?
Right, but I think maybe one of the things that we had been assuming when we made that kind of shift in renaming was to say, okay, we will then just consider travel and sort of the travel fund procedure and process like one way a community member will, so I think it was sort of a an assumption, I think, on our part or a lot of people's part to just say, okay, when it comes to a travel request, the former rules that applied to the travel fund apply when you're making a travel fund request to the community
yeah.
fund.
Yep,
Right,
yep,
it's business as usual on that front.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but so anyway, kind of go back to my like meta point. I think it'd be great to maybe close the issue that we currently have and in its stead open specific issues for the buckets of proposal spend for the travel fund clarification, for the thank you program, and that sort of things, so that we're documenting those paths to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it seems like a working session would probably be good too, to hash some of these things out.
Yeah, and if we want to expand it, then we should have that discussion as like potentially what was just discussed as another program we could have under the the umbrella.
Mhm.
We had actually talked, somebody else had submitted an application once, and I think we had discussed some guidelines, and it wasn't completely formalized yet, like you need to be an active participant. It needs to be something that your company wouldn't pay for if they could. I can't remember those other points, but we might want to resurface those.
I think they're listed in that. I just pasted
Okay.
actually pasted different thing, but in the member travel fund, the
does
requirements
have
are
that.
the things you just listed.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Candidates must be an active participant of one of the projects of the OpenJS Foundation, and then there's a few others, but the last one is like fund applicants should seek to use employer funds first as a first resort, need as a factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Well, we can dig into that more in separate issues, and a working session I think would be great.
Yep.
And I think it's interesting to figure out, some sort of diversity fund for travel that just wasn't what this fund was for. All right, cool. Great. Where the heck am I? So moving on, or do we need to review the steps for? I mean, I guess there are some notes here in the meeting minutes. But we know what to do with this issue and next steps and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I think we want to have one of our next working meetings be focused on this particular topic, and then also to create issues for the more specific granular things, and we can close this one when those new issues are created, so we don't lose that thread.
Okay, sounds good. All right, great. And then the last one is issue 632, provide implementation guidance for DCOCLA. Robin, you commented on October 12th.
Yeah, there was a meeting held. I think there was some follow-up.
Yeah,
I know I've seen a little bit of activity from Reese from the Linux Foundation talking with the GitHub folks, but I don't have the latest information. Do you, Jory?
yeah. So yes, the TLD is that the Linux Foundation will be taking this project in-house, and that's really, really exciting. There's a lot of projects that when this kind of popped up, and there was us, there was Hyperledger, OpenSSF. A lot of groups were like, "Oh no, we want this." So thankfully, I think the parties are agreeing that that would make sense. So it's sort of in process for how to like port that over and who's going to sort of be leading on the LF side. But I think that means that we might get Brian's PRs unblocked and merged in. So like this is a W.
Is this, I just want to be clear, I'm looking at the last comments on the ProBot DCO issue 162, and they're having conversations with GitHub as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, great.
So.
Do you know how they're going to notify external? I mean, we're on YouTube, but how we're going to go public with this?
I have no idea. I think that was sort of like I'm not so sure. I think it's open source project. So there's that. I'm not sure what the execution path for this exactly looks like, just that there's general like agreement and willingness and excitement for the LF to become new maintainers of this project in some meaningful way, which would allow us to continue to work on it and consume it, which is great. So
great.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right, and this is maybe a dumb question, but you know, Gregor is aware of what's going on and you know, is aware as much as he needs to be.
I don't know.
Okay. I only asked because he
in
commented 4 days ago, so I just want to make sure that everybody's sort of as aware as they need to be.
And my LF meeting is actually happening right now, but I'm with you all.
Oh,
I can.
Well, that's a wrap, folks. Okay, see it. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Joe, I believe he is. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Been
Cool.
involved.
Yeah. Okay, good.
so that takes us maybe to that's it for the regular agenda items.
Yep. Do we have anything else? I know we should talk about next working session.
We should talk about next working session. We should talk about the calendar for the rest of the year, because we are moving into that period of time where we're got vacations and things like that.
Yep.
Per my 2021 CPC meeting schedule issue, which is issue 739, we have a working meeting on Tuesday of next week, followed by regular meeting, December 14th working meeting, December 21st a regular meeting. So this starts to get closer to holidays. We've canceled the December 28th meeting for the holidays. Let me ask if we think that we need to cancel the December 21 meeting, which is a regular meeting for the holidays as well.
I would say yes.
Lots of head nodding.
We're gonna have less people than we have now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
reasonable.
Okay, cool. So I'll edit that to cancel, which means that we have 2 opportunities for working meetings remaining in this year. So one, we just identified we wanted to spend time on the proposals for the use of the community fund. So I might pop that on for next time. And then I also anticipate having some work to share as a result of a lot of the tech strategy working sessions we've had. So my suggestion is for the 16th and 30th working meetings that we focused, one on the community fund and one on tech strategy discussion. Does that sound good?
14th and the 30th? Yeah, sure.
16th and the 30th. Yep.
14th?
16th. Unless maybe I put this in wrong. 14th. Yes, 14th. Sorry. I'm today. Yeah, the 16th is in the past. Great. Sorry.
Okay, good. I'm actually on the calendar here. No worries. Looking at the calendar, I even wonder, should we convert the December 7th meeting to a working meeting and just try to have these last 3 meetings like, you know, progress working meetings? I don't know. It's just a thought I had.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, I certainly feel like we've got a lot of momentum on certain projects, and that would be good. On the other hand, just devil's advocate, we've got potential things that we need to discuss with the full CPC, and I wouldn't want to, potentially lose that opportunity. So up to you all. I'm super open either way.
I mean, yeah, it's a good point. I suppose we could even just, run through the agenda quick and save the rest of the CPC meeting for working on something if we wanted.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah. All right.
And just quick update, we did hire a new marketing communications lead. She begins December 1st. Can't share who it is yet, but we're pretty excited about that.
Great. That's great.
So
Excellent.
yeah, that's next week.
Very
Yay.
cool. Very cool. Great. All right. So we have something of a plan?
Yes, I think we've got a plan.
Okay. Will you update that issue, Jory? And then maybe we should even ping the CPC Slack channel, just letting folks know what to expect for the rest of the year. And maybe we'll even get some folks to join in some of the working stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm doing that right now. So for the 7th, we'll do regular plus working. Cool. I will get this updated.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And I suppose, from now until the end of the year, my work gets a little bit quiet. So I'll try to jump into some of these issues and PRs that we still have open, that list of documents and things like that, try to get some things going. And boy, I would love to get the tooling set up to take minutes and put them into the repo and all that stuff.
PR is
be
welcome,
great.
Joe.
What's that, Tierney?
PR is welcome.
Yes, I know. I think about it all the time. I'm out walking the dogs thinking about like, oh man, I would love to just get that done. Thank you, Jory and Michael. I know you two have committed some meetings lately. Thank you. The notes. But right now I got to go out and rake leaves before the snow comes at some point. So first things first.
Cool.
Anyway. That's a wrap. Thanks, everybody. I
everyone.
appreciate-
Thanks all.
Have a great week.
Bye.
I appreciate you all.